long time ago, obviously back in the 70s, late 70s, and it was a great experience. And my choice to go to a Division III institution was because Bridgewater was one of those places that had an interest in me. At the time, I was a two-sport high school athlete, baseball and basketball. Basketball was my draw to Bridgewater, and I'd been to a camp there, and that was kind of how I ended up there. And it was a small environment, which was right for me versus a big institution like a Virginia Tech or a Penn State or something like that. So it was small. It was Division III. And I wanted to continue my athletic career, and it was the right move for me. I had an opportunity after graduation. I still had to do my student teaching, and I had an opportunity to assist Dr. Kendall, who was the head baseball coach and athletic director. So I was an assistant for 4 years, and so that became a natural fit. I was looking for high school basketball coaching jobs, believe it or not, and they just weren't out there at that time. And so it led me down the path of coaching baseball. And 4 years into that process, I became the head baseball coach at Bridgewater College. So it sort of fell in my lap, and it became the thing I wanted to do. I was very interested in doing it, and it was an opportunity, and I took it. And it was Division III, but it was right for me. It was where my philosophy fit. I didn't see myself as a scholarship kind of guy. I like the idea that student athletes at Division III level are playing for the love of the game, and they put a lot of hard work and dedication into that. And that's just where I belong. So I began in 85, 86 as a head coach and did it for 34 years as a head coach. So it was the right place for me. At the time, again, I didn't know I was going to be an athletic director. I knew at one point in time I wanted to get in administration. I like the idea that you can help more than just your team or more student athletes and achieve their dreams, their goals, and their development. So I knew it one day I would wanted to do that. When it came my way, when the opportunity came my way, it just happened, and I wasn't sure I was ready for it, but I applied for it, and the opportunity was presented for me to be the new AD when Dr. Kinder chose to go to the chair of the health and exercise science side of things. I guess it was health and P back then. They wanted to split those positions. And so I became the athletic director, and I was baseball coach at the same time. And I thought they correlated pretty well. I knew I would understand the coaching side of it, what our coaches were going through, but the administrative side, I always had ideas and thoughts how we could do things to improve our situation in athletics at Bridgewater. And so I started working on that end, pretty much immediately to try to do some things I thought would help all of us. And here I am now after stepping down last year from coaching baseball and director of athletics only. So for me, it's about reaching out to more student athletes, being able to help them and help our coaches achieve their goals and dreams, and to win championships or to be successful and develop and be better at what they're doing, so that one day, they too can achieve their dreams and their goals. I mean, when you're in athletics, you meet a lot of people, whether it's student athletes, it's coaches, it's other administrators. And I've enjoyed all those relationships and connections. I think the one thing that speaks to what D3 is all about for me is something you won't see necessarily always at a scholarship level, and that is the ability to be more connected, in my opinion, to your student athletes in a smaller setting like Bridgewater College. And the story that kind of sets this in place for me is just happened here over the last 2 years. We have a young lady who is a senior now, or just will now graduate. Was a student athlete, a track athlete, and a athletic trainer. She was our athletic trainer on one of her rotations, but I really didn't get to know her then. About 2 years ago, we had a presentation at Bridgewater College during Martin Luther King Week, which was an engagement type opportunity for all who attended it. And the presentation was such that you had to connect with somebody in the room. She was injured at the time. She was on crutches, standing in the back of the room, so she couldn't sit down in one of the seats in Cole Hall. I was standing in the back of the room, so when they said pair up, Felicia Clements and I paired up. And she was injured at the time, and so we had to ask each other a lot of questions. We got to know each other through this process, And at the end of the process, you were to develop a handshake that was unique to you two. And that when you went across campus in the future and you ran into this person, you would do this unique handshake. So we did it. And so every time you ran into each other, you would greet each other that way. We did that for a good solid year every time we saw each other. As the next year transpired, I didn't see her as much, but when we did, sometimes I'm in a hurry, she's in a hurry. We didn't always do it, but we did it periodically. And I think the thing that happened out of that is I got to know her more as a student athlete because of that interaction. And in the days to come, I was still coaching baseball, and she's now a track athlete, and I really never got to see her perform. But we would communicate with each other. How you doing? How's she's a high jumper. I said, how you doing jumping and all that. I said, I really want to see you someday. And she said, well, we got ODAX coming. I said, yeah, I know I can't make ODAX because of this or because of that. So I was missing the opportunity to see her jump. And then when I became AD this year and I didn't have baseball, which was, obviously at the same time she was in track and performing in track, I said, well, good, I'll get a chance to see you this year. Again, we were missing those opportunities because of my obligations as an AD, et cetera. Well, finally, toward the end of the indoor season, she qualified for nationals. And I said, you know what, it's in Winston-Salem. I'm going to nationals. I'm going to support our student athletes down there. And I was excited about the opportunity to see her jump. Well, as you may know by now, they had left. They were going down there. And at the time they left, we were in a meeting talking about this pandemic and whether we were going to continue with athletics and whether school was going to go, classes were going to go online, and everybody was considering these things. Well, they're down there. They've been there a day. They've registered for events and done all the things you would do prior to the start of the NCAA championships. And that we get the call from the NCAA that we're canceling all NCAA championships for the rest of the semester, spring semester. So they didn't get to perform. I didn't get to go down there and see her. And so, and we were now texting back and forth. I said, I really was looking forward to the opportunity to see you jump. I was excited about that opportunity. And now here I am again. I missed you. Well, about, I don't know, within a week or so, obviously it was a troubling time for our student athletes, and particularly for the ones that were ready to perform the very next day at the national level. They got home, and I missed them getting back because they got back real late. But we texted back and forth, and finally, one day I got an email from her with a video of her jumping, and I think it was the day, I want to say it was at VMI, where she set her personal best and probably the mark that qualified her for nationals. And so just to have that kind of interaction, and I was really excited when she sent me the video. So I've watched it, and obviously I've texted her back about it. But it's just one of those things that would not happen typically at a scholarship school or a larger school. And being Division III and a small school and having that kind of interaction with student athletes is what makes it the right place for me. And that's what, to me, was what Division III is all about. That's a story that sort of tells you this is what Division III is all about.